What's going on, guys? I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com, and let's say you're in that situation where you need a new phone and you're thinking, do I really need the physical QWERTY keyboard? Should I go all touch? And you'll find that in a lot of situations, in most cases, the fact of having no keyboard often equals a larger screen. So you look and say, do I want that larger screen or do I want that physical QWERTY keyboard? So it's a challenging battle, challenging thing to decide, but one thing's for sure, there's some great devices regardless of which carrier you look at. You have the HTC EVO Shift 4G on Sprint, a small little device, smaller display, but has an awesome QWERTY keyboard. And then you have the Samsung Fascinate on Verizon, one of the Galaxy S devices, big 4-inch Super AMOLED display. It's the cousin to the Epic 4G, but it's much thinner because it doesn't have that physical QWERTY keyboard. Pocketable, cool, big display, physical QWERTY keyboard, still fast, but hey, it's a little bit smaller. Which one's going to win? We're going to do a dogfight, pit these together, see which one comes out on top. Special thanks to our friends at Best Buy Mobile. They've hooked us up with two of these. We're going to give them away to you in our One Paw Bandit game. So one thing I like, when I go into Best Buy Mobile, you don't have to deal with mail-in rebates. You walk in to buy this or you walk in to buy this. It's $149 and $199 or whatever the sale price is right now. No messy paperwork. Super cool on that front. Enough of that. Let's get into the dogfight. EVO Shift, Fascinate. Let's do a comparison of these as to what apps you get on both of them. Now this one comes with the stock, Google stuff, Amazon MP3, app sharing. Because it's running Android 2.2, it has app sharing. You see Facebook out of the box, HTC's Friend Stream. So a couple of HTC apps. You get Kindle, Latitude, you get Google Maps on this device, obviously. News and weather, and some stuff I've installed for testing. Then you get Sprint Hotspot. This is a Sprint Hotspot device. Also, this is a 4G device, so it is subject to Sprint's $10 premium data charge, which apparently is going effective soon, is going across the board to all smartphones. So all smartphones will have to pay $10, so it won't matter that much after that. But it is a 4G device. It is capable of running Sprint's hotspot for an additional fee. And then you have other Sprint applications like Sprint TV, Sprint Zone. Then you have, I guess, what they're calling Sprint Navigator now, Telenav GPS Navigator. But at this point, it is free with a plan. Sprint does a great job. Sprint TV, Sprint Navigator, whatever, Telenav GPS Navigator. And all the other Sprint services are included as part of your everything data plan. That said, which is a cool thing, that said, Google Maps is still my favorite. It's very easy to use, and it's free on any device across the board. So I've gotten used to using that. But you do have those. And visual voicemail, which is free. $2.99 feature on Verizon. So you're saving these pennies across the board on Sprint with a device that's capable of doing those things. Now we look at the Samsung Fascinate, and you can see a couple things. One, Google is not the default search engine out of the box in this device. It is Bing. There is no option to go from Bing to Google out of the box without some hacking. So you'll notice the search bar is Bing, and with no Google in sight. But anyway, that's there. Blockbuster, Car Cradle, City ID, which is a free trial, and I think it's like $1.99 a month. You have your typical stuff, email, Gmail. Now one thing you'll notice is missing, Kindle, one thing you'll notice is missing right now, or right in the middle of these, there's no Google Maps out of the box. They want you to sign up for that VZ Navigator, which is $9.99 per month. So they did not install Google Maps. Pretty shady on Verizon's part, actually. I had to take off points for that. Mobile IM is installed, My Verizon Mobile, Need for Speed Shift, Skype Mobile, a couple other things, all the VCast stuff. Visual voicemail is there. It's an additional fee. Like I said, I think it's $2.99. And VZ Navigator. Now, fortunately, you can see here, I went into Google Market. You can go in and download Google Maps, so there's not a restriction there. The problem that I have with that is most users don't know, or most basic users don't know that you can go in and download Google Apps from the market. So points off to Verizon. That's not cool, and pushing people into features like that. It's pretty frustrating, kind of unacceptable. In my opinion. So, but you can do 3G mobile hotspot as well on the Fascinate for an additional fee with Verizon. Take a look at Gmail on both of these devices, and you can see, like I said, this is running Android 2.2. It's running an updated version of Gmail as opposed to the Fascinate, which is running Android 2.1. It's running an older version of Gmail that's not it's not able to go to the newer version yet on Android 2.1. So you notice some subtle changes. In the header here, you'll notice the ability to go click on inbox, not click on email. I'm trying to do this with two hands. Click on inbox and scroll there, or you can click Old Man McTweety and then see your Gmail application or Gmail email addresses from the main screen. You can't do that on this one. There's no ability. You see that's static there. You can still add additional accounts by going down here to the menu, but just some minor convenience stuff like that is not present on the Android 2.1 version. Now you go into this Moto Blur email, for example, and you're scrolling up, and wait for this one to load. On the HTC device with this running Android 2.1 or 2.2, you can see when you scroll up, that header stays in place. So if you're halfway through the email, you can't remember who sent it to you, you can scroll or you can look up and immediately see that. Now you have the options here as well: reply, reply all, and forward at the top part of the device. And then you have the bottom, you have archive, delete, and then forward and back. So nice there. Let's try to get this connection back so we can take a look at this email. There we go. Okay, so when you scroll up, you can see, the header does not stay, and then your reply forward, reply to all, and forward is at the bottom. So some minor design changes, not huge, but it's just nice to see this clean. And after you work with an Android 2.2 device, try to go back to Android 2.1 with these older programs can be a little bit frustrating for people that have gone up. So let's take a look at the phone app just to show you some of the differences between the two. On the Samsung device, you have your 4 tabs up here: dialer, call log, contacts, and favorites. Bigger buttons, obviously it's a bigger display. Then you have shortcut buttons to messaging, voicemail, and phone as well. On this one, you have your contacts are listed. This is actually something I don't like about HTC Sense. If you don't have a bunch of calls, like people you've dialed or calls you've missed, anything like that, it just starts listing your contacts right up here. I don't like that because let's say I call 611 and I hang up, and it lists 611, so it kind of like jumbles up my missed calls, my received calls, my calls I've made with my contacts. I don't like that. I mean, I wouldn't mind if it was just missed calls up here or just contacts, but you kind of decide which one you want to use, and then when you close it, obviously if I had more contacts, they would scroll down, but you have the option to remove the number pad or minimize it. You have the option to go straight to call history, and then you have the option to scroll through and see all of your contacts. Now this is one place where they really do a good job. You go to Aaron Baker, for example, you see my home, my fake message, and you can scroll over and see the messages that we've sent together, the email messages we've sent, updates and events. So you can scroll over to call history, gallery, updates, mail, etc., etc. So it's cool if you come in here and you're like, when did I text Aaron Baker? You can scroll over to messages, see when you texted him. You can scroll over to mail, see when you emailed him. Now the downside, at least unless they fix this in recent versions of Sense, this does not pull in the Gmail. It only pulls in your POP-based mail. So if you use Gmail for everything, I don't think it'll show up in here. But just some cool things like that, which I happen to like and think are nifty features on the Sense device. Now this one, you have your call log, contacts, and your favorites, and that's pretty much it in the call log. And then when you go into contacts, again, pretty limited. Although they do a decent job, you can see history, activities, and media. So it's a very tab-centric operating system. You go into history, we'll see when we spoke to Aaron Baker, when we messaged him. It shows the message, so we did message, remember, earlier in the video. Activities and media as well. So both are great. I have to give the slight edge, at least in organizational flow, to HTC Sense. That's the cameras on both of these devices because they both have 5-megapixel shooters. And this has the 4-inch Super AMOLED display, 3.6 inches here. And I'm going to spoil it for you. They both have flashes, but I think the Galaxy S device, the Fascinate, excuse me, has a better camera. We'll take a look at this Verizon USB data stick, for example, and we'll zoom in. We'll snap that picture, and then we'll do this one. And the downside is both of these, or neither one of these rather, have physical camera buttons. It's all on the screen, which is fine, for a lot of people. It frustrates me because I have shaky hands when I'm taking a picture, and trying to autofocus when I have those shaky hands. I mean, obviously it's not that bad, but it can create an issue. So you have your editing options over here on the Fascinate, and you can see some editing, shooting modes, flash on and off, obviously, exposure, and a couple of other advanced settings. And then you have the ability, let's go into the media and take a look at it. There's what it looks like on the phone, and let's take a look here. There's what it looks like on the EVO Shift. In my opinion, the colors are richer on the Fascinate. The texture is a little bit better. It's a little bit more clear. I have to give the camera award, at least, to the Samsung Fascinate. That said, I mean, they're both 5 megapixel cameras, and they're both cell phone cameras. I don't think you'd be disappointed with either of these. But, you know, that Super AMOLED display really makes it shine on the cell phone. You know, whereas this one, a little bit more dull, a little bit grainier, though it's still just fine for day-to-day use. Here we go, the quadrant standard test to see which one of these devices is faster. Now, it's important to note, you know, Android 2.2, there it is. Android 2.2 obviously runs a little bit faster than Android 2.1 at its core, so we'll take a look and see. I have a feeling the EVO Shift is going to come out on top, and it's actually been beating the original EVO in speed tests. I mean, this thing is a rockin' device, and it moves pretty quickly to boot. So I've been pleased with both of these. I'll talk a little bit about reception, things like that. Both earpieces are fantastic. Actually, on the Galaxy S device, the Fascinate, I had to turn down the earpiece because it was so loud. So, you know, it's a good earpiece. I've been pleased, and reception's been good as well. I took both of these to their respective dead spots. Verizon's Northeast Charlotte. There's a spot in North Charlotte for Sprint, and was pleased across the board. You know, it held the call. It was obviously choppy, but I was able to hold the call without disconnecting. So that was nice, and I didn't lose my caller. Data speeds, you know, I've been kind of disappointed with those. We'll jump into speed tests in just a second, but overall, have not been pleased there. This device comes in at 1506 on this speed test, 1506, whereas on the Galaxy S, I don't know why I keep calling it Galaxy S device. I mean, it is a Galaxy S phone, but still. The Fascinate comes in at 885, so nearly half of what the EVO Shift comes in at. So speed test, I mean, EVO Shift blows it out of the water. Let's take a look at the speed test. Let's see here. We'll jump into that. Speed test, and we'll take a look at what the network speed tests look like before we sign off. Let's make sure these are coming up in the Charlotte area. I'm not in Kansas. I'm in Charlotte. Wait for that to auto-lock, and then we'll start the test. So you can see, you know, this was a recent test I did on another dogfight with the Fascinate, and I just haven't been pleased with data speeds. They have not been great at all. So, well, it'll be interesting to see. Let's kick this one. No, we'll keep it on 3G to keep it fair between the two devices. But we'll wait for this one to load up on GPS. Here we go, locked and loaded on Charlotte. Let's start the test and see which 3G one comes out on top. But I've been, you know, super impressed with the EVO Shift for a mid-range, or not even mid-range, a high-end device with a physical QWERTY keyboard. It's a nice addition to the EVO line. So we're pulling about 1.6 megabits per second on the download on the Fascinate. We're only pulling about 800 kilobits per second on the Sprint one on the download. Let's see what upload. 579 kilobits per second to 404. So in that one network test, the Fascinate edges out. Let's do one more just to make sure. You know, again, as I always say, it's about 4:30. It's rush hour time on Interstate 85, so this cell site is used pretty hard right between 4:30 and 6 o'clock, especially on a Friday. So, again, decent, very good speeds there, and you know, right around 843 kilobits per second on the EVO Shift. Much more coverage to come on PhoneDog.com with both of these devices, the HTC EVO Shift, the Samsung Fascinate, so keep it locked on the site. Dogfight winner definitely goes to the HTC EVO Shift 4G. Fantastic device. For $149.99, you're getting a lot for your money, and overall I've just been very pleased with it. You know, performance is fantastic. Can't complain there. QWERTY keyboard's great. And just all around a fantastic device, good addition to the EVO line. The Fascinate's a good device. Don't get me wrong, it's a good addition to Verizon's Droid lineup, but with the iPhone coming out, it kind of loses some of its luster as that kind of iPhone replacement on Android, if you will. So for consumers coming in, I have a feeling that sales are going to drop slightly on this device as they look and realize that that there are some other options. So there we go. Much more coverage to come on PhoneDog.com with both the HTC EVO Shift 4G, the Samsung Fascinate. Dogfight winner, HTC EVO Shift 4G. Performs very well. You get some awesome bang for your buck. At $149.99, it's an awesome high-end smartphone that I've been very pleased with. It's fast, has a great keyboard, no issues with it whatsoever, for the, you know, with the exception of some speed test issues on Sprint's end. But great device, Sense is fantastic, and the Fascinate's a good device as well, don't get me wrong, and it's a good addition to Verizon's Droid lineup, but with the iPhone coming to Verizon, I have a feeling it's going to lose some of its luster as that kind of iPhone replacement on Verizon, if you will. So, something to keep in mind. Still a good Android device, as is this, but I think this is just a fantastic addition to the EVO line. Much more coverage to come on PhoneDog.com. Be sure to like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/PhoneDog. We're still giving away tablets. We're doing another giveaway Monday, January 24th, this coming Monday at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So keep it locked. Facebook, PhoneDog.com for continuing coverage of both these devices and our 100 iPad and tablet giveaway. Be sure to follow me on Twitter as well, PhoneDog_Aaron. With any questions, you think I'm crazy, you think this is the best device ever, the smartest, coolest, best dogfight ever in the history of Phone Dog, let me know. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next time.